Claire, your thoughts. Claire Haxel, a community-based researcher contracted by the Center for Excellence in HIV/AIDS to investigate and evaluate the Rainier Women's Treatment Program. What's your evaluation?
Well, I just want to echo some of the points that particularly Brenda made about the fact that the Rainier's targeting a group of women that are failing at traditional programs. And that's what all the research shows, that these are the women who fall through the gaps, who are not accessing the traditional ACT teams, are not going to the treatment centers out in Abbotsford or up in the Okanagan. They aren't that population. They need a innovative, creative program in the downtown east side that meets their needs and is built around them. And that's what our research shows. We were targeting that group, and it shows that they do better, and that 50% of Rainier participants are abstinent after they leave the program, compared to 5% of women in the downtown east side. So
you say 80%?
50%.
50%. So that's still a very high number.
It's a very high number. I mean, when you think about treatment for addiction, addiction is defined by the Canadian Addiction Medical Society as a chronic and relapsing condition that can go for a lifetime. We don't expect everyone to be perfect the moment they leave treatment, but what we hope is that their abstinence periods last longer, that they're doing better, that they're healthier, that they've got a doctor, they've got a place to go, they've got housing and a job maybe, and that those periods of abstinence can last longer. And these short little 30-day programs, they can be great for some people, but what we found for women in the downtown east side, it doesn't work for them. They've got nowhere to go after 30 days. They're back on the streets. The Rainier holds on to them for 6 months, 9 months, make sure they get into transitional housing, make sure that they have an opportunity to succeed. So these traditional programs that people always lean to say we've got treatment, to send them there, it's not working for these women. More
on this story, including your calls, questions, comments at 604-280-9898. Toll free around the province, 1-877-399-9898. You're with Bill Good on the Chorus Radio Network, and my phones are open to you. Funds from Health Canada have run out for the Rainier Hotel Addictions Treatment Program for Women. Mark Townsend is director of the Portland Hotel Society. It manages the Rainier Hotel. Brenda is a resident of the Rainier and has spoken eloquently about what it has meant to her. Claire Haxel is a community-based researcher, and I welcome your calls, questions, comments. But first of all, I want to ask Brenda, if this money isn't forthcoming and the program ends, what does that mean to you?
For a part of it, I've been there for a year, and when they deem you stable enough that you get moved to the third floor, which is more independent living, I'm going through that transition now. So I'm very fortunate. As far as the women that might be coming in or that are there now on the second floor, and some of them are very new, upside down, shaking their world upside down, because the reason they came there, and usually it's through on-site, is because it was safe. The safety for me is in jeopardy, because I don't know what's going on. We're still fighting. We've been told one thing, but then we're fighting for something else, and it's very tumultuous right now, no matter where you live at the Rainier. And with all my other sisters there, we are trying to keep it together as much as possible. We need support. We need direction. We need what we had.
Jeff, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. How are you doing?
Doing well, but a little bit confused about this situation.
Yeah, I would agree. I'm in recovery myself, product of a private treatment center in British Columbia. Been sober for 6 years. A lot of time now fighting for public beds here in the Okanagan Valley, and get very frustrated with the fact that there is no public funding. It just doesn't make any sense. It's a struggle for everyone. We spend more time looking for money to fund beds than we do actually treating people in addiction. And I echo the concerns of your guests. I mean, if we don't address this issue, it just leads to people back to the street, back to drug addiction, back to mental illness, which is another thing I don't think is being addressed, is the concurrent disorders that exist between addiction and mental illness and how severe they are within our society.
Mark Townsend?
Well, specifically, the Rainier was set up to deal with those concurrent disorders, because you make a very good point. They really are, a horrific driver in the scourge of addiction. And I mean, it adds to the feeling of upset that just kind of carelessly, really, the bureaucracy has made a misstep and is just going to lose something that's really working, that's targeted for a very specific group, and is already there. When in a few months we'll be trying to recreate this wheel when we see the Wally Opal report.
Is your plea to Coastal Health or to the provincial government or to both?
No, our plea today more is it's very hard to get a bureaucracy to change their mind. We're in the room with the hippo. It means well. We sometimes feed it, but then sometimes it backs up and bumps into us. And unfortunately, it's bumped into us badly, and it's bumped into Brenda and the women that are in this treatment program very badly. So what we need here is the leadership at another level, the Minister of Health or the Premier, to say, hey, look, let's give our heads a shake here. And this is something that's valuable. It's something that's important to women in the province.
Have you had a conversation with the Health Minister?
Not yet, because we don't. Look, it's not that we can pick up the phone. So part of being on your program is to try and garner that attention and say, look, there's been a mistake made. It's a serious mistake, and it's something that you wouldn't ultimately be proud of. And it's not that people in Vancouver Coastal Health mean badly. They're often so far away and so out of touch. We asked the actual architects of this to come and explain to the residents what would happening. And of course, they sent some other people. They just said this is an operational issue. They wouldn't come themselves.
Nick, good morning.
Yeah, hi, Bill. I mean, this doesn't surprise me because I've kind of worked in the field as a foster parent, as a youth worker for years, and there is a kind of piecemeal approach where one program gets closed down, another program gets opened up, and that, like I said, is frustrating. That having been said, and I have huge respect for the Portland Society, but I myself do question the idea of having a treatment centre in the downtown east side. I know when I put my foster kids through detox, they don't do as well at the Union Gospel Mission detox. They do better at Great Northern Way. Because the reality is, if you're in the downtown east side and you're having a bad day, your boyfriend or your girlfriend dumps you, you get a bad letter from home kind of thing, and your crack dealer, your heroin dealer is literally a block away, whereas if you're a little further away, just Marpole or Burnaby or what have you, it gives you a little pause for thought. And personally, my experience has always been that a little separation is better geographically.
Mr. Townsend?
Well, those are all good points, but the evidence kind of doesn't bear them out. If you look, for instance, at the successful completion of detox at on-site, which is right in the heart of the downtown east side, right above an injection facility, it statistically does better than Great Northern Way. The reason for that, I feel, isn't that the people at Great Northern Way are bad or anything like that. It's, again, it speaks to this flexibility. What's key in delivering these services is flexibility, creativity, understanding the target group. And that's what the Rainier Women's Treatment Centre does, and that's why it has been successful.
My thanks to Mark Townsend, Brenda, and Claire Haxel. You're with Bill Good on the Chorus Radio Network. The news headlines next. Then, will Surrey roll the dice on the mega casino complex?